The city was cloaked in gloom, shrouded in a thick haze of smoke. A monstrous creature rampaged through the streets, tearing the world apart. Just then, a young man named Kei-sama emerged dressed in a pair of formidable battle armor. With a fierce gleam in his eye, Kei-sama launched into action. He soared through the air, the blades on his suit generating powerful gusts of wind. In a flash, he delivered a slicing blow to the creature. With swift fluid motion, he circled the monster, then landed gracefully on the ground. The creature had no chance to resist. It collapsed defeated. Kei-sama smiled coldly. The mess was cleaned up, 32 bodies in total. Ever since the great catastrophe on Halloween of 2024, the world had turned into a living hell overrun by grotesque monsters. The gap between human strength and the power of these beasts was far too wide. Giant monsters ravaged cities. Only those who had transcended human limitations could stand against them. The beasts attacked civilians, clashed with military forces. Soldiers fought valiantly to protect peace, but they couldn't save everyone. Where's the backup? Why aren't they here yet? Panic laced the voices on the battlefield. The monsters were simply too powerful, too large, too fast. A young soldier stood frozen in fear as a monstrous roar thundered in his face. Then, right on cue, Kei-sama appeared. He darted past in a blur, cleanly eliminating the threat. The 33rd kill. The young soldier stared in awe at this rank adaptive entity before him. So far, he said under his breath, everything's still under control. But deep down he knew something was wrong. He could hear the growls monsters still lurking nearby. No one had warned him that creatures of this caliber even existed. The data and reality were miles apart. The monsters kept coming. Frustrated, Kei-sama tapped his comm device and called the man behind the curtain. You said there were only 33. Did you lie to me? A voice rasped back, calm and condescending. Kei-sama, I told you to call me master. I'm not the one out there on the front lines, the man continued weakly. Mistakes in the intel are inevitable. Just then, the young soldier shouted, panicked, Captain, look out. There's another one on the other side. Damn it. A monster struck from behind, blindsiding Kei-sama. God, are you dead? The soldier yelled. The creature's attack had been lightning fast. Brutal. Kei-sama hit the ground, curled up, paralyzed. His body wouldn't move. That old saying echoed in his mind, dogs of the organization have no freedom. And maybe, it was true. His eyes were hollow, darkened with exhaustion and quiet despair. Just one day he thought just one day of freedom would be enough. Was that too much to ask? In another world, surrounded by soft toys shaped like cuddly animals, a small boy suddenly exclaimed, what the hell is this? Kei-sama had awoken in a new world somewhere far from war, far from monsters. Disoriented, he blinked. I should have been killed. That monster definitely had me. Then he looked at his hand, tiny, smooth, delicate. Wait, is this my hand? He stared down in shock. No wait, don't tell me I've turned into a baby. Footsteps approached. The boy turned toward the door. Who is it? Could it be? A gentle woman stepped into view, her expression warm and soft. A far cry from the cold, calculating operatives he used to know. IG-chan, you're awake already. Mommy's here. His eyes widened. Ha. Inside the cozy little house, the boy sat quietly as his mother cooked breakfast. She moved with tenderness, humming softly. And the boy IG-chan now sat there, confused and speechless. He had no idea what had just happened. What's going on? It was as if the nightmarish memories of battling monsters had completely vanished. The boy sat still, trying to make sense of it all. The TV was still on. Outside, he could hear the faint murmur of people, going about their day. There were no monster growls, no tremors, no sirens. Nothing. Slowly, he started to feel grounded in the present moment. Then the realization struck him. Don't tell me, I've been reincarnated. Reborn into a timeline where the great catastrophe never happened. His thoughts raced. If that's true, then the organization doesn't exist either. A wild grin broke across his face, his heart swelling with joy. A refreshing sense of liberation washed over him. I'm free. The Lord of Fate hasn't abandoned me after all. He turned and looked up at the calendar hanging on the wall. I'll remember this day for the rest of my life, the day everything started over. But then his eyes widened in disbelief. Wait, 2020. His voice caught in his throat. This is before the great catastrophe. The joy drained from his face. No way. This can't be right. IG-chan scowled, deeply frustrated. How could this happen? In this body I can't do anything. No, I'm Kei-sama. I'm a fully grown man, a warrior. But now, he couldn't even stand properly. Desperate, he tried to get up, limbs flailing, but his legs betrayed him. Damn it. I'm still in the stage where I can't even stand. He wriggled on the floor, wanting to speak but his throat burned with discomfort. No words came out. This is pathetic. He questioned himself in silence. What could he possibly do like this? Time was slipping away, every second more precious than the last. He glanced toward the woman across the room, the one this world called his mother. Should I rely on her? He thought. The very idea was bizarre to him. A mother? Him? No, he corrected himself. Not rely use. AG-chan analyzed the woman. Surely she had some kind of useful skill. At the very least, she should be capable, resourceful, anything. Maybe she's good with her hands, he thought, trying to remain optimistic. The woman bustled around the kitchen. AG-chan watched her carefully. Please, at least be quick on your feet. Just then, the stove flared up into a sudden blaze. AG-chan panicked. She can't even handle cooking. We're going to burn down the house. This woman is useless, he thought, horrified. But the woman turned to him and smiled gently. It's all right, sweetheart. Mommy's going to make your milk now. The boy muttered inwardly. This feels like the end of the world. AG-chan tried to say something, but the words faltered before reaching his lips. Defeated, he buried his face into the pillow. The road ahead is going to be hell. Just then, the doorbell rang. The woman glanced up and called out, delivery. I'm coming. As she walked toward the door, something seemed to click in her memory. Oh right, I need to pay for the delivery service. She turned back to grab her wallet. Just a moment, please. Delivery. The word hit AG-chan like a gut punch. Something didn't feel right. It had been ages since he'd heard that word. Delivery. If it really was a delivery guy, that meant he'd been in contact with countless people. And if that guy was infected, AG-chan froze. Wait, no. The word delivery echoed again and again from the front door. Panic stirred in the boy's chest. Then came the voice. Your package is here. Please accept it. Another shout. Delivery. Hurry and take it. The man's tone was oddly urgent. The items he carried looked suspicious. AG-chan furrowed his brow. This is shady, seriously shady. He glanced around the room. There's gotta be something useful nearby. Right next to him was a baby bottle. He reached for it with irritation, fidgeting restlessly as he slid across the crib, searching for a better option. Damn it. Is this really all I've got? He let out a soft, almost mischievous he as something came into view. A stuffed pig plushie. He grabbed it, rolled back into his crib, and waited. From the entrance, strange smoke began to drift off the delivery man. It shimmered unnaturally, like a heat wave in a horror film. AG-chan didn't flinch. His eyes narrowed, bottle in hand, and pointed it like a weapon at the creepy man. If I touch that thing, I'm dead. His instinct screamed it, born from a past life drenched in war. Back when he was Kei-sama, he'd fought and studied monsters on countless battlefields. He knew how to spot danger in an instant. He knew this wasn't human. No ordinary human body could ever match the power of a monster. But little Ig-chan felt no fear. He stared straight at the man. No, the creature, and sized it up. From its build he could tell, it was a power amplifying type. Delivery, delivery, delivery. It repeated robotically. Its raw physical strength was likely devastating. But what really bothered Ig-chan were the tentacles sprouting from its head. They looked like far more trouble. Looks like I'll have to risk it. He let the baby bottle slip from his hand. It rolled across the floor toward the creature. The man stepped on it absent-mindedly, an innocent motion at first glance. But Ig-chan's eyes gleamed. That wasn't a mistake. That was a test. This thing's strong, but it's slow to react. If I can exploit that delay, I can throw off its attacks. The word delivery kept pounding in the air like a warning siren. And yet, the boy thought of his past life. I never thought there'd come a day I'd be grateful for those brutal battles. Suddenly, Ig-chan's tail twitched, then grew, stretching forward like a whip. It snapped out and latched onto something just outside the porch. Chomp. He was gnawing on something. Something solid. The boy froze. Wait, is he eating it? The boy clutched his own tail, stunned, then it hit him. This tail, it's mine. It's the same weapon I used in my past life. A surge of memory flooded his mind. Back when he was Kei-sama, the tail had been his signature weapon, the gluttonous tail, a terrifying ability that allowed him to absorb the cores of monsters and steal their powers. But how? Why do I still have my skills from my past life? Even more confusing, I was born 3 years after the Great Catastrophe, yet that event won't even happen for another 4 years in this timeline. Ig-chan's mind raced. None of this makes any sense. And yet here it was. The very weapon he once wielded as an apex warrior. He stared at the tail, eyes gleaming with intrigue. Let's see what you can still do. Excited, the boy tested his powers. With a flick of the tail, he struck the crib's leg. It shattered instantly. Nice. He grinned. The earlier someone awakens their abilities, the greater their potential. In my last life, I awakened at age 7, and made it all the way to S rank. But this time, he clenched his jaw, his tiny face glowing with ambition. This time I might just reach SS legendary rank. Huh. Dreams of power and glory danced in his mind. My time has come. Ig-chan dropped down to the floor and crawled out of the crib. Now that I know what I'm capable of, there's no reason to stay cooped up in this place. Goodbye. But just as he was about to escape, What the? He squirmed, struggling to move. I can't move. This isn't good. Earlier, when he unleashed his power on the crib, one of the broken legs had collapsed, falling right on top of him. Now the whole thing was pinning him down. From the other room, the woman, his mother, screamed in panic. Ig-chan. As she rushed toward him, Ig-chan, barely conscious, drifted into delirium. I can't believe it's come to this. I'm going to have to survive on dog food. Memories of his former master Lee, and of his past self Kei-sama flashed through his mind. A loyal dog of the organization. A weapon, not a person. Damn it, he mumbled in his haze. I'm not a dog. With a start, he jolted awake. It was all just a dream. Ig-chan blinked, exhausted. Looks like I blacked out. He turned his head. There she was, the woman who was now his mother. Did she save me? He lay there silently, breathing heavily, trying to piece everything together. But why did I pass out? Could it be this body can't handle my power yet? Judging by how long he stayed conscious, it had probably only lasted about 30 seconds. Too short. Unacceptable. Ig-chan clenched his tiny fists, seething with frustration. Damn it, I need to get stronger. Much stronger. The woman Ig-chan's mother was sitting on the floor, quietly sobbing. The boy turned his head, puzzled. Huh? Is she crying? Lying nearby was her journal. A diary filled with page after page of heartfelt thoughts about her son. Sticky notes and little slips of paper were tucked everywhere like tiny treasures meant for him, and only him. Ig-chan looked at her again. There was a bruise on her shoulder. That mark, it was from when she had shielded him. In my previous life, my mother was the kind of person who would have sold me to the organization without a second thought. He reached out, gently touching her back. The woman flinched at the unexpected contact, then, suddenly, pulled him into a warm embrace. She held him tightly. Ig-chan didn't look too pleased on the outside, but this time, something felt different. For the first time he felt real affection. She really cares. Maybe I'll stay here a little longer. But time was running out. He knew it. This world would start changing completely within a week. The next monster would show up soon. And this time it would be nearby. Somewhere high above, a window cleaner at the top of a skyscraper was suddenly attacked. His body convulsed. His face turned pale, and his eyes glowed with a strange toxic green. The air around him shimmered with the same eerie green vapor. A venomous haze. Back at home, Ig-chan sat deep in thought. I need to stay calm and plan my next move carefully. Suddenly, his mother appeared again with a big smile, and something hidden under a cloth. Guess what this is? She said playfully. She pulled back the cover to reveal a dog. A cute-looking dog. Ig-chan froze. His eyes widened in surprise. We got it from the neighbors, his mother explained happily. But Ig-chan's expression darkened. Wait a minute, isn't this that vicious mutt from before? He stared at the dog, astonished. I can't believe I ran into it again in this life. This thing is way too big for a child's pet, he sighed internally. She's so scatterbrained. Seriously, crossing his arms, he started to analyze the situation. But then a new thought crossed his mind. Maybe, this is a good thing. It could be my ride. He climbed onto the dog's back like a little knight mounting his steed. If I train it properly, it could be a solid asset against future threats. His mother watched her son with amusement, as he giggled and bounced playfully on the dog's back. A grown dog isn't so bad after all, she said with a smile. You're smiling. You must be having so much fun. Ig-chan began interacting with the dog, slowly building a connection. Step 1. Train it to eat on command. The training began. Standing tall as tall as a toddler could, Ig-chan raised a sausage like it was a sacred offering. Come here. Eat this, he commanded. If I'm the one feeding you, that makes me your master. The dog tilted its head, staring at the kid's goofy, overly serious face. You get it now, don't you? After a moment's hesitation, the dog finally took the sausage from his hand. That's right, Ig-chan said, clearly pleased. Eat it properly, like a good soldier. In an instant, the boy's demeanor shifted. He was all business now, ambition burning in his eyes. He climbed up and stepped firmly on the dog's head, pointing like a general on the battlefield. I'll train you into a top-tier war mount. But before he could finish savoring his moment of dominance, the dog snapped. Chomp. It bit down on his leg hard. Ow wow. Ig-chan yelped, flopping dramatically onto the floor in pain. The dog looked down at him, chest puffed out with smug pride. Its face screamed, know your place, brat. Ig-chan sat back up, face twitching, gearing into attack position. You dumb dog. He growled and launched himself straight at it. The two rolled around, tangled in a full-blown wrestling match. From the kitchen, Ig-chan's mom listened to the chaos unfolding. She chuckled to herself. Those two really are a perfect match. It's like they've been best friends forever. Then she opened the cupboard. Oh no, we're out of flour. Back in the living room. The kid and the dog were still at it, clawing, tugging, snapping at each other in a ridiculous yet intense showdown. Meanwhile, their mom sighed, wiped her hands on her apron, and grabbed her bag. Guess I'd better go out and buy more flour. Ig-chan's mother rummaged through the pantry, searching for flour. It's got to be in here somewhere, she muttered. Up above. Near the ceiling, a strange green mist was silently creeping along the corners, seeping into the kitchen like a silent predator. Suddenly, the dog's ears perked up. It noticed it immediately. With a sharp bark, woof, woof, woof. It sprinted forward, growling and pawing at the air, trying to alert her to the danger. It lunged into the strange mist, nudging Iji-chan's mother urgently, as if to say, something's wrong. Huh? What is it? She asked, startled by the sudden noise. From the living room, Iji-chan's eyes narrowed. He recognized that gas. This type may be weak, but it's a real pain to deal with. The creature had a liquid-based body, meaning it was immune to slashes, punches, and most physical attacks. The dog barked louder, more aggressive now. Startled, Iji-chan's mother jumped and bonk smacked her head right into the cabinet. Ow. I hit something. The dog snarled, now fully confronting the toxic mist. It leapt into it, only for the gas to surge forward, wrapping itself around the dog like a sentient slime. Iji-chan's heart sank. Damn it, it's changing shape. His mind raced. Its weakness is dehydration. I need something that'll dry it out fast. He scanned the room quickly. They're a baby bottle. Without hesitation, he yanked off the nipple, then hurled the bottle in the dog's direction. The milk inside splashed out, spraying across the misty creature still clinging to the dog. Immediately, the green vapor began to distort its form, curling up into a tight, unstable orb. Just as I thought, Iji-chan noted, eyes gleaming. It panics when suddenly dehydrated. Acting fast, he grabbed a nearby bucket and slammed it down over the writhing ball of gas. Then he sat on top of it, sealing it in with his full and very tiny weight. And that's that. Mission accomplished. Meanwhile, completely unaware of the dramatic showdown that just happened behind her, Iji-chan's mom continued her search. I knew I left it on the shelf, she muttered cheerfully, reaching up. Ah, here it is, the flour. She pulled the container down with a satisfied smile, none the wiser. Flour exploded everywhere. Puffs of white dust filled the air, coating both Iji-chan's mom and the dog from head to toe. Iji-chan looked at the mess and sighed internally. Great. Another klutz joins the party. Still perched proudly on top of the overturned bucket, he watched as his mom frantically tried to clean up the mess. Ugh, what a disaster. I need to wash all of this off, she grumbled. Iji-chan, however, had a more pressing matter on his mind. At least I managed to trap that weird slime. Lucky break. Its goo could be useful, it repels insects, and when smeared on windows, it might even work as a shock-resistant layer. Suddenly what? A toxic splatter burst out from under the bucket he was sitting on. The pressure knocked him off, sending him tumbling to the floor. Damn it, it escaped. The dog didn't hesitate. Woof. It launched forward like a missile, chasing after the rogue blob of green poison. A fierce growl erupted from its throat as it closed in. Even the toxic gas paused, taken aback by the sheer aggression. Iji-chan scrambled to trap it again with the bucket but missed. The blob darted away and flung itself toward the window. It twisted mid-air into a floating shape, forming a smug-looking middle finger pointed right at them. Iji-chan's eye twitched. Seriously, it came all the way here just to mock us and bounce. The dog snarled, teeth bared. Iji-chan's expression hardened. That cocky attitude. You're just a bottom feeder. He threw the window open and leapt onto the dog's back. Together they were ready. I'm not letting it get away, he shouted. As they charged out in pursuit, a thought hit him. Wait, that insect-repellent goo, why the hell can it fly? They sped across the street, following the trail of green vapor. There. If I can just throw sand or mud at it in time. They caught up quickly. The creature had slithered up to a rooftop, melting into a puddle as it dripped downward. Right below it, a young girl was walking by completely unaware. The goo dripped toward her, and then landed. It clung to her, slithering across her back and arms. Ugh, what the hell, she screamed in terror. Iji-chan's heart stopped. If I use my power now, my body won't hold up. But if that thing manages to take over her, this entire area will become a bloodbath. Had seen this before. Once, in his past life, was already one time too many. Riding on the dog's back at full speed, Iji-chan's eyes were locked in. His expression steeled. Once in the past was already more than enough. He lunged. Snatching up a nearby umbrella, he flew through the air and swung it up, shielding the girl from the dripping poison. The goo splashed against the fabric, hissing, bubbling, but the girl remained untouched. If I can only use my powers for a few seconds, he muttered through clenched teeth. The toxic slime kept pouring down relentlessly, testing the strength of the umbrella. Iji-chan gritted his teeth, eyes burning with fury. If only I had the strength of a giant arm to fight back. He could already see it. If he hesitated for even a moment, that thing would end it all in the blink of an eye. Iji-chan and the dog finally caught up right where the toxic gas had reappeared. Did we make it in time? Everything happened in a blur. They had managed to help the girl dodge the worst of the poisonous blast raining from above. Did she see me? But the girl had no idea what just happened. Terrified, she turned and ran. She's running away. Iji-chan shouted as he and the dog chased after her. The gas scattered and swirled chaotically behind them. Iji-chan groaned. Yeah, I get it. But clean up such a pain. Suddenly, without warning, the gourmand tail, his signature power from his past life, sprang out from under his clothes. His eyes widened in shock. Wait, this kid can absorb 2 powers. In his past life, every time he gained a new ability, the old one would be replaced. But now, both powers were coexisting. Unbelievable. They're not overriding each other, they're evolving together. Back then, he had been extremely cautious. He rarely swapped skills, afraid of drawing attention, and in the end, it got him killed. But why is the gourmand tail evolving now? Then it hit him. Of course it's the age factor. The younger the body at awakening, the stronger the potential. In his past life, he'd officially awakened at the age of 10. But all the kids younger than him had died, none of them could survive the monster toxins that came with early awakening. But now, he was even younger than before and alive. Iji-chan grinned wide, baring his teeth in delight. This little guy's growth potential is insane. They had arrived. He jumped off the dog's back and landed on the ground. But the moment he touched down, the poisonous gas was already radiating from his own body. His legs gave out, and he collapsed, face first into the dirt. No good. I'm completely out of energy. He frowned, struggling to push himself up. Before I even think about powers, I need to work on my basic stamina. Still lying there, he muttered, at least with his toxic aura, the monster should keep their distance for now. But something wasn't right. He glanced at the dog and froze. Its eyes were glowing red. Raging. What's with that look? Then Shiumpi. It grabbed him by the collar and lifted him into the air. No way, you're not thinking of eating me, are you? Back at home, his mom was in the bath, finally relaxed after a long day. She glanced out at the yard and smiled, watching the boy and the dog curled up together. They've really become close, haven't they? The dog held Iji-chan tightly while it slept, snoring happily. Iji-chan squirmed, annoyed. You're too heavy. The sun had already dipped low, it was nearly nightfall. The dog was deep asleep. Meanwhile, Iji-chan lay still, quietly absorbing the lingering energy from the toxic mist they had gathered. Soon, the air around the house began to change. A faint green shimmer coated the windows, vents, and pipes. All right, I've covered every window, vent, and drainage pipe. The house was now surrounded by a fine layer of repellent gas, subtle, but enough to keep uninvited guests far away. Now, even if a major disaster breaks out, this house should stay safe for a while. Iji-chan lay sprawled out, exhausted. His thoughts drifted back to the gourmand tail and the powers he currently held. I think I'm finally starting to understand how this thing works. It looks like the tail can store up to 4 different abilities. He closed his eyes, deep in thought. Right now I can only access 2 skills, and even then, only for about 30 seconds at a time. Sitting by the window, he quietly stared outside, lost in planning. If I want to be ready for the next apocalypse, I need to secure food first. He recalled the horrifying images of victims during the last disaster. It wasn't the monsters that killed the most people, it was starvation. Supply lines had collapsed. No one was delivering food or water. People turned on each other. Chaos over basic supplies. IG-chan grinned slyly, imagining the possibilities. If I stockpile enough now, I can avoid all that conflict. Hell, I might even get others to follow me. He looked around the tiny house. There wasn't much. His grin faded into a frown. If only I could start prepping right now. He knew one thing for sure, markets and supermarkets were no longer safe. Once the infection hits just one person, it'll spread like wildfire. His nerves tightened. And with this body, if I get surrounded, I'm done for. Worry clouded his mind. Most places that still have supplies are either swarming with people or already compromised. Is there really no other way? Just then, the phone on the table rang. IG-chan glanced at it. Her phone. He reached out and grabbed it. Who's calling? Curious, he tapped the screen. It wasn't a call, it was a group chat notification. The neighborhood chat group, huh? Let's see what the locals are saying. No password. Wide open. Inside the chat, people were already whispering rumors. There's this virus going around. They say if you catch it, you turn into it. And it spreads. IG-chan scrolled through the messages. These people, they have no idea. Fingers flying, he created an anonymous account and typed up everything he had deduced about the virus, the spread, and what to prepare. Messages started flooding in, panic, confusion, but then backlash. Who even is this guy? Looks like some middle schooler trying to scare everyone. Stop spreading nonsense, kid. IG-chan clenched his fists. These damn people. He gritted his teeth, glaring at the phone. If this keeps up, the organization won't even need to intervene. Everyone's going to be dead before then. Just then, a friend request popped up. Huh? Who's this? He tapped to accept. The username blinked on screen. Hot, that name sounds weirdly familiar. A message came through. The person was asking about the virus, the same topic IG-chan had just posted about. He squinted at the screen. Who's on the other end of this? Then a thought popped into his head. Could it be a sexy girl? But another possibility immediately followed. Wait, hot. Are they from the organization? Somewhere, in a shadowy part of the city, a mysterious figure was typing. A woman, cool and composed, watching IG-chan's every move. She was from that organization, and she had just made contact. Looks like things are about to get interesting. At a hidden base, a young woman with the face of an angel, long black hair streaked with green highlights, and a dangerously seductive figure sat comfortably with one leg draped over the other on a bright pink chair. Surrounded by mysterious electronic monitors glowing in the dim room, she lazily licked a popsicle while staring at her phone. Just say the damn plan already, she muttered. Huh? She sighed, clearly annoyed. This is so annoying. With a smirk, she activated the voice recording function on her phone and spoke into it casually. These are my conditions. I'll give you all the supplies you need. Then, without hesitation, she tapped send. The screen cut to a massive storage room, perfectly organized. Crates upon crates lined up like a military warehouse, food, water, armor, everything imaginable, fully stocked and ready to go. Still holding her popsicle, she scoffed and added, but information doesn't come for free. I'm selling it for 100 million yen. Relaxing in an air-conditioned room set to a breezy 16°C completely opposite the sweltering chaos of the outside world, she continued her pitch with unwavering confidence. But lucky for you, she said with a sly grin, transporting the goods is a pain in the ass for me too. If you agree to give me 20% of the supplies, I'll give you the intel. Deal? Back at the apartment, a tiny child body cradled a smartphone far too big for his hands. Beside him, a mischievous dog lounged on its favorite pillow, snoring softly. Kei-sama stared at the messages on the phone, his eyes narrowing. Just a single exchange, and he was already certain he knew who this was. That tone, the stupid 100 million yen price tag, only one person talks like that. It's definitely that chick hot. He was all too familiar with her style. Without any panic or surprise, he stared at the phone with a hint of suspicion, calm and steady, already navigating the negotiation in his mind. And why should I trust you? He typed back. Almost instantly, her response came in. You want to come verify it yourself? He didn't budge. What if I refuse to negotiate? She replied in a teasing, almost flirtatious tone. Oh, planning to make me your enemy? That's harsh. I was hoping we'd get along. Kei-sama didn't flinch. Then where's the drop spot? To his surprise, she responded with precision. I left the info in your mailbox. The one in your apartment complex. It was the type of mailbox standard to most buildings. Each apartment had one, often used for receiving deliveries or leaving notes. Back to the heart of the situation, Kei-sama paused to think. He imagined her again, a girl with jet black hair and bright green highlights, lounging on that ridiculous chair, gleefully texting him back with that signature smug grin. The organization hasn't even formed yet. And hot. She's not their leader yet, but even now she was already dangerous. That was the truth. But even so, he couldn't afford to let his guard down, not when it came to her. That girl was a master manipulator, an expert at twisting information and hearts alike. Extremely dangerous. Once she set her sights on something, she would use any means necessary to strip it down to the core. To her, people were nothing more than pawn's tools to achieve her endgame. Kei-sama smirked slyly, the corners of his lips curling up with mischief. Getting along. Yeah, right. That intel is just bait to reel me in. Hemph, this time, I'll be the one breaking the rules of the game. Outside, the sky was bright blue with fluffy clouds drifting lazily across. Time ticked by steady and constant, echoed through the ticking of a round wall clock. It was already 5 p.m. Sitting cross-legged with arms folded, he took a moment to reflect. So I've been asleep for around 2 hours, huh? I guess my stamina's mostly back. Time to grab that intel. He mustered every ounce of strength in his tiny frame, dragging himself toward the door. The elevator's got surveillance. No way I'm using that. It has to be the stairs. But the stairs were brutal. Sweat streamed down his face as he climbed, one step at a time. His legs ached, but he didn't give up. His eyes burned with determination, sharp, focused. Suddenly, a spark lit up in his gaze. He turned toward the dog, his so-called sidekick, brought home by his mom. He crawled over and reached out with his tiny hand, gripping the dog's tail. Hey, wake up. The dog opened one eye, annoyed by having its nap ruined. It flicked its tail sharply, flinging the boy's hand away with a practiced motion. Kei-sama tumbled back. Tech, I thought I trained you at least a little. Rubbing his slightly swollen cheek, he paused, then narrowed his eyes. Wait a second. He glanced toward the dog's favorite treat bin. What if I lure him with food instead? A shadow fell over the dog as Kei-sama loomed close. Blocking out the light, he carefully opened the treat bin. Immediately the dog twitched its nose, wriggling as it caught a whiff of something irresistible. Its ears perked. Its body tensed. Its nose scanned the air like a radar. A tiny hand held out the dog's favorite treat, inching it slowly toward its twitching nose. IG-chan made his offer calm and casual. To his surprise, the dog actually understood. It shot up, reached out a paw, and gently tapped his hand. Figures. Just a dumb dog but surprisingly useful. Man and beast snuck out the front door together. And just like that, Iji-chan had found himself a ride, his very first companion. Let's go, before she wakes up. Balanced firmly on its back, he directed the dog toward the mailbox unit of the apartment complex. There it is, the mailbox. He motioned toward it, but as he looked up, his eyes narrowed. There was a camera right above it. Tech, that sneaky little witch. She's trying to identify me through the surveillance cameras. He frowned, tension creeping across his young face. If I expose myself now, she'll sell me out in a heartbeat. But she only goes after people whose faces she knows. While he was deep in thought, without him even realizing it, several spectral tails spread out behind his back, forming a dense network around him. A cunning grin crept across his face. Got it. All I need is a good distraction. He unleashed a burst of energy. The wall beside him shimmered as his power spread outward, masking the nearby area. Step 1. Scan the surroundings. He closed his eyes and focused, directing the unleashed force like a sonar pulse. Sure enough, beyond the apartment's main cameras, there were hidden ones on the ceiling lights, in the bushes, behind window grates. 1, 2, 3 hidden cams. All hers. He scoffed. Huh. Does she really think she can spot me with toys like these? Back at her control center, the girl with jet black hair and green highlights sat giddy in her pink chair, surrounded by glowing monitors. She hummed a tune as she watched her trap unfold. Now then, who's my little mouse this time? Suddenly, her phone buzzed with a message alert. Startled, her tune came out garbled. She picked up the phone and read the message. Her eyes widened. I've already taken the information. What? When did that happen? She frantically cycled through every camera feed she had. Nothing. Just a dog on screen. No trace of a person. She gritted her teeth in frustration, unaware that Iji-chan had found the one blind spot in the entire surveillance system. In that hidden corner, he slipped the phone and his note into the mailbox. I'll stash the smartphone with the name tag here. Now seated beside his dog, tucked away near the stairwell, he took a deep breath, catching his breath after everything. Phone in hand, he texted back in reply to her earlier message. Who are you? He grinned and typed eye for an eye. You give me 100 million yen, and I'll tell you. At that moment she nearly exploded. Wah. This little. She clenched her phone, shaking with rage. Tisk. This brat. Slamming the device down with a loud thud, she screamed, don't mess with me. I'll find you. Her fingers flew over the keyboard like machine gun fire. Spider, your turn. Sweep the entire complex. From a ventilation shaft, a mechanical spider emerged. Sleek, black, and deadly. I'll show you the power of this baby. Cost me 30 million yen. Equipped with a camera, dust resistance, waterproof casing, low temp shielding, magnetic resistance, high-speed mobility, and even electric stun capability, the spider advanced toward the stairwell, closing in on the dog. The moment she thought she'd finally get visual confirmation, crack. A foot stomped down from above, crushing the spider flat. She screamed in agony. 30 million yen. Standing over the remains of her prized gadget, Iji-chan's mother glared down, her voice cold and suspicious. Iji-chan. What are you doing? Frozen in place, Iji-chan and the dog jolted in terror. Busted. He stared up, face full of panic and guilt, completely unsure how to respond. Ha was still drowning in sorrow. She hadn't even gotten to use her spider drone for long before it was crushed into a pile of scrap. My spider. But then, eyes still watery, she blinked in surprise when she suddenly heard a voice coming through the device. What are you doing, sweetie? Hot froze. Wait, it can transmit voices too. The spider had a communication function. Stunned, she grabbed her mic and quickly responded, you can talk. Snatching up her headset, she spoke into the mic with a threatening tone. Hey, don't get cocky just because you pulled off some little trick, got it? I heard your voice. I'll make you pay for this slowly, she thought bitterly. Her anger hadn't settled yet. I could expose all your embarrassing secrets and messages online. You know that? I still have them all. Her voice carried the force of someone trying to regain control. After venting for a while, Hot's expression softened slightly, feeling mildly satisfied with herself. But then nothing. No reply. Thinking her rant had scared the other party into silence, she raised an eyebrow. Say something, will you? A beat. And then the voice came through again, cool and unfazed. You know, dressing that light, you're gonna catch a cold. The completely unrelated comment stunned her. Wait, was I just ranting like a clown this whole time while he didn't even listen? You weren't even paying attention, she stammered. Damn it, she cursed through gritted teeth, slamming the breaker to cut off the line. She had officially had enough of him for now. This guy, he's a real handful. He even made me feel like I lost. Who the hell is he really? Meanwhile, back to Iji-chan and his mother. After finding her son and the dog out alone, wandering without supervision, she quickly picked him up and carried him on her back. Honestly, Iji-chan. It's dangerous out here, you know that, she scolded gently. On the ground behind them, the crushed spider drone lay lifeless, and forgotten its broken voice box sparked faintly. Input and output both active, 46% functionality. Unviable, it muttered mechanically. At the same time, Iji-chan, still being carried piggyback by his mom, stared at the oversized smartphone in his small hands. A new message popped up from Hot. Fine. I'll give you the info for free, take the supplies too. Eyebrows furrowed, he thought to himself, she's giving up already. That's not like her. What's she up to? The sky above the housing complex was clear today. It was a beautiful day. The sky was clear, with wisps of white clouds drifting lazily overhead. Morning sunlight poured down over the tall buildings, casting a soft golden hue over rows of trees shimmering with a lush, green sheen. Amid this peaceful scene, Kei-sama's mother stood faintly silhouetted on the balcony, hanging out laundry. From inside the house, Kei-sama watched her back, easily guessing what she had been thinking after yesterday's sneaky escape. She thought the dog opened the door on its own, and assumed I just sleepwalked outside. Turning his head abruptly, he stared toward another direction. Guess that means I can't use the dog anymore. The poor dog, now lying pitifully on the floor, had tears in its eyes. All four legs were tied with rope, helpless and betrayed, unable to explain its innocence. Kei-sama felt a slight twinge of guilt over its tragic fate, and silently made a vow. Don't worry, I'll come back for you. But for now, there were more pressing matters to deal with. Kei-sama turned his thoughts to a certain supermarket. According to Hot, a warehouse-style market was about to open. So, she's handing over a pile of goods she probably stole from someone else. Still, he admitted, for Hot, that's actually pretty generous. His eyes shifted to a flyer neatly laid out on the table. If I want to stock up on essentials, it's best to start now. I planted the flyer here, but she still hasn't noticed. I need to push this further. Kei-sama briefly considered revealing his powers, but immediately dismissed the thought. That'd just freak her out. I can't exactly blurt out the apocalypse is coming, now can I? Suddenly, he overheard his mom mumbling to herself. There's only enough milk left for 5 more days. A spark lit in his eyes. Perfect timing. A milk carton rolled lightly across the floor. Iji-chan's mother smiled warmly at the sight of her little boy sleeping peacefully on the couch. Oh, he's asleep already. Thank goodness he didn't wake up. Then her eyes landed on the flyer that Kei-sama had strategically placed. Huh. A new supermarket opening nearby, she murmured in surprise. I'll have to stop by when I get the chance. Unbeknownst to her, Iji-chan had already opened his eyes, a mischievous smile curling at the corners of his lips. Mission accomplished. The sky remained bright, and the sun still shone gently. Down on the street, a woman's hands gripped the handle of a baby stroller. It was Iji-chan's mom, pushing her son along toward the new supermarket. What a lovely day, she chirped, enjoying the weather. But her son didn't seem to share the same excitement. Wearing a smug expression, he grumbled from the stroller seriously. A boy wearing this outfit. This is so not okay. Back at home, the dog was left alone, entrusted with guarding the house. Next to him sat a food bowl that had already been filled to the brim. Before long, the two arrived near the supermarket. Just as they were about to enter, a man's voice called out from behind. Wait a minute. A security guard rushed over. What are you doing out here? There's a virus outbreak spreading. We're advising everyone to stay home. Iji-chan's mom tried to explain calmly. I just need to buy more powdered milk for my child. But the guard scowled and snapped. Don't create more trouble for the government. From his seat in the stroller, Kei-sama turned and gave the man a sharp look. Hearing those words, he sneered internally. Government. Please. The government's about to collapse anyway. The guard continued ushering people away and just following orders. Please go home and stay inside until everything calms down. But the moment he finished speaking, a massive, grotesque claw lunged out of nowhere and clamped down on the guard's head. In a blinding flash of light and a surge of energy, a nightmarish creature appeared towering, with jagged gray-black stone-like armor and rows of razor-sharp teeth. Bolts of lightning crackled around its body, tearing the air apart and releasing a crushing aura. Below, the guard stood frozen, unable to react. His legs kicked helplessly as the monster lifted him off the ground. His scream pierced the silence like a death knell. A bloody hand dangled, trembling, in sheer agony. Cold, eerie mist swept in, and the dim lighting only made the splattered crimson stains on the pavement shine brighter. Amid the dripping blood raining from above, Kei-sama and his mother stood motionless witnesses to the horror unfolding. The monster bared its fangs, sniffing out its next source of protein. Its voice was twisted, ghoulish, sending chills down the spine like to it. Human lives were nothing more than nutrients. Realizing the monster wouldn't let them go, Kei-sama narrowed his eyes, the gears in his mind spinning at breakneck speed. This is bad. That thing can multiply, and it's insanely strong, no clear weakness. If I don't use my powers, this woman will die. Just then, the beast's massive torso came crashing to the ground, splashing blood like a macabre waterfall, after its previous kill. The danger was right on top of them. There was no time left to hesitate. Kei-sama prepared to act, but before he could move, a hand grabbed him and pulled him up. His mother had scooped him into her arms, eyes filled with panic, but unwavering resolve. Eiji-chan, hold on tight, she cried. Held close, Kei-sama felt her body tremble. He gritted his teeth. Is she trying to run? That's pointless. There's no escape from that thing. The monster was already upon them, bearing its strength in a fearsome display. It launched toward them, set on turning them into its next meal. In his mother's desperate embrace, Kei-sama's mind raced. That thing's in a whole different class, way faster than any human. Then he caught sight of a fire extinguisher nearby. If I rupture that, without wasting a second, he activated his power, releasing a precise blast aimed directly at the emergency box. Boom. A sudden explosion erupted. Light flared, smoke and debris burst outward. The icy fog of the extinguisher hissed through the air like cold mist, shrouding the entire area in a thick cloud. The monster's vision was clouded just for a split second, and in that brief instant, a small figure darted through the haze like an arrow. Power gathered around Kei-sama's tiny body, condensing into a powerful strike. Boom. His punch landed clean. The enormous creature was flung backward, its weight crashing into the ground with a quake that shook the entire block. Dust exploded upward in thick plumes, covering everything. From within that swirling gray fog, Kei-sama stood his ground, eyes sharp and feral like a beast eyeing its prey. He calculated calmly it'll take about 30 seconds for the dust to clear. His eyes snapped open, a surge of energy gleaming in their depths. In that time, I'll end this thing. The smoke still hung thick, blinding almost everything. Kei-sama glanced over at the unconscious woman, lying among broken debris and clouds of dust. The real question now is, can I take it down before she wakes up? He recalled the moment she clutched him tightly. She had blacked out from the shock, and time was running out. This type of evolving monster, its core is usually in the head. One solid hit there should be enough. The haze slowly thinned. Kei-sama remained where he stood, eyes locked on the swirling fog, tense, ready, but the sight that emerged wasn't what he had hoped for. The creature's massive form stepped forward, slow but unfazed. Its thick, stone-like shell looked virtually untouched. Not a single wound. Kei-sama's eyes burned with resolve. Fine, one more hit. I'll finish it this time. The monster roared, baring its jagged teeth in a horrifying snarl. Then it struck. A slash tore through the air with terrifying force, heading straight for Kei-sama. There was no more room to dodge. This is it. The real fight starts now. The ground shook as the monster unleashed its full strength. Kei-sama stood in the center of the blow's radius, eyes narrowed, locked on. He launched into the air. From his hands burst thin, glowing red threads, deadly threads that looked fragile, but carried lethal power. They zipped toward the monster, slicing through its hardened hide, tearing into its face, into the head where the core was. Kei-sama flew forward, speed increasing with each passing second, until he looked like a streak of burning starlight cutting through the battlefield. His eyes lit up, literally glowing with power surging from deep within. Blood burst from the beast's body, the crimson spray painting the dust-filled sky. But the monster didn't fall. Damn it, not quite enough. That hit was a little weak, he thought, grinding his teeth. But I'm the one who's gonna win this. He knew it. He believed it. With confidence radiating in his voice, he whispered to himself. His legs flared with red energy, launching him off the ground like a missile. He bolted toward the creature with a fearless glare, weaving through its brutal swings with ease. Ducking, sliding, leaping, he dodged every heavy strike from the monster's massive arms. Then he found an opening. Red thread shot forward again, precise and merciless, slashing through flesh. Blood sprayed. The monster reeled, howling in pain. And still Kei-sama didn't let up. Strike after strike, a barrage of red light and speed, slicing deeper into the monster's weak points. Kei-sama saw an opening. One advantage of being stuck in a child's body: it's too damn big to hit a Kinley. Smoke swirled thick around the ruined street. Kei-sama ducked and weaved between the monster's brutal punches, each one enough to crush concrete. But something about its attacks, it's holding back. Then came a punch that shattered stone and steel. Kei-sama leapt out of the way, eyes narrowing. It's playing with me like a cat chasing a rat. But that smug attitude played right into Kei-sama's hand. After a rapid exchange of blows, both Kei-sama and the beast paused, each gathering force for the next strike. Blood dripped from the monster's frame, splattering the rubble beneath. Kei-sama stood unharmed. Hidden within the haze of war, the boy smirked. All those battles were my last life, at least now they're paying off. Grinning in the dust, he thought, tired already. One more hit should do it. But then the creature lunged forward, gripping a chunk of iron gate from the ruins. What the? Kei-sama's eyes widened. The beast swung. He barely ducked in time. The iron gate whooshed past his face, slicing the air like a guillotine. Kei-sama kicked off the ground, leapt to the top of a building. Damn it. The tide was turning and not in his favor. If it starts using weapons, I can't get close enough. He quickly scanned the terrain. Can I ambush it? No, I've got nothing to distract it. Time was running out. His powers were fading. No choice. I have to pull back. Then a voice sliced through the chaos. Eiji-chan. Kei-sama froze. She's awake. His mother had come to. She was stirring in the dust, panic and confusion in her eyes. Where am I? Then she saw it. The towering beast emerged from the smoke, black blood oozing down its hide. Her eyes widened with pure terror. Her face went pale. No, it can't be. She fumbled through her pockets. Kei-sama watched from above, heart sinking. He could guess what she was about to do. No, what the hell is she thinking? There's no way she can fight that thing. She stood. Her stance was unshaking. In her hand a stun gun. She glared at the beast with fury and heartbreak. Give me back my son now. She pulled the trigger. Electricity surged. A thin trail of white smoke curled from the barrel of the stun gun as the bolt struck the monster head on. Kei-sama froze for a second, skeptical. A stun gun. Seriously, whatever, at least it's a distraction. That small jolt of electricity might not bring the beast down, but it served its purpose. This is it, he thought, seizing the moment. As the monster roared in rage, it summoned a surge of eerie blue energy and swung a brutal strike toward the woman who dared provoke it. Aha! Eiji-chan's mother was thrown backward, slamming against the ground with a painful cry. But before the beast could strike again, a crimson flash tore down from the sky. Kei-sama descended like a meteor, blazing red power flaring from his fists. I'm done playing around. Time to wipe this garbage off the map. The monster looked up in panic, mouth gaping, still glowing with unholy blue light. But it was too late. Kei-sama's final blow struck like divine judgment. The impact shook the earth, cracked the pavement beneath, and sent blood splattering across the debris-strewn battlefield. Dust exploded outward. And in the silence that followed, the monster lay broken, twitching in a pool of its own blood. Far off, Eiji-chan's mother remained still, unconscious. A tiny figure walked slowly toward her through the smoke and ruin. Kei-sama stood beside her, silent. If she hadn't jumped in, I'd be dead by now. He looked down at her bruised face. His expression softened. Didn't think she'd risk her life, just for me. But the battle had drained him. Exhausted, Kei-sama collapsed to the ground. For a toddler body, I fought better than expected. But for someone like me, a warrior at heart, it's still not enough. As his small frame slumped forward, his tiny hand landed against her open palm. Fingers met fingers. Warmth. Soft light bathed the street. The sky had cleared again, blue and calm. Sometime later, inside their apartment, Kei-sama slowly opened his eyes. His face had a few minor scratches. His body ached, and someone was changing his diaper. Ha! A deep voice chuckled above him. Oh? You're finally awake, little guy. Kei-sama's eyes shot open. A stranger. Who the hell is this guy? And then he peed. Straight up. Right on the stranger. Piss off, you damn creep. The man froze. Silence. Then, okay, guess I deserve that. The room was thick with embarrassment. Feeling a bit guilty toward the man with black hair, Ling Yinju offered a quick apology. I'm sorry. The black-haired man replied kindly, it's alright. I must scare the little one. He looked down and added, by the way, is the kid getting along with the dog? Ling Yinju smiled gently. Yes, they're doing great. Eiji-chan, however, felt a little uneasy. Is this guy the dog's previous owner? The man turned to leave, but not before offering one last thank you. Thanks for taking care of him. Ling Yinju replied politely, it's nothing. But Eiji-chan stared at the man's back as he walked away. There was something off. She saw that monster earlier, so how can she act like everything's fine? Suddenly plop. A droplet landed on Eiji-chan's head. Ha, he looked up. Her hair, it's wet. Eiji-chan fell silent. He understood now she had been crying. Quietly, alone. Their conversation continued. The black-haired man reminded her, Ling, we're heading out to stock up. Get ready. Ling Yinju responded with a cheerful nod. Okay, Eiji-chan meanwhile was lost in thought. Always stockpiling supplies. Well, working with others to gather essentials isn't a bad idea. Suddenly, a thought struck him. Wait. That's right, I never got the core from that monster. His mind flashed back to the moment. After the battle, he remembered seeing a faint red glow among the rubble. There it is. Among the debris, a crimson crystal pulsed faintly. With focused power, Eiji-chan summoned a tendril from his tail, one of his latent abilities, and stabbed it directly into the glowing treasure. Got it. He grinned triumphantly. This core wasn't just for show, it had heart and energy properties. He could feel it. This thing, I can use it as a shield. The red crystal fused into his essence, and with it, a new defensive ability was born. Not bad at all. I can work with this. Just as he was celebrating his success, Eiji-chan froze. His eyes narrowed. What's that? In the distance he spotted a familiar figure. It was the black-haired man from earlier, the one who asked Ling Yinju to care for the dog. But now, he was standing next to a corpse. Calmly, coldly, he lit a cigarette and held his phone to his ear. Are you seriously saying that mother and child are just dead weight? He exhaled a puff of smoke, voice casual like discussing the weather. Idiots. That's exactly why we keep people like them around for emergencies. He laughed dryly. If we need bait, they'll do just fine. That makes them useful, don't you think? Eiji-chan stared at the man, utterly exasperated. This guy's nuts. Who leaves a dog alone with a baby? Meanwhile, the man kept talking on his phone, casually holding a wallet stuffed with cash. Switch cars and go pick up more supplies, he said. Suddenly Siras. The car window shattered out of nowhere, glass raining down with a sharp clatter. The man spun around, instantly alert. Who's there? Eiji-chan flinched. Shit, the window. Oh, it's just you, kid, the man said, instantly switching to his fake gentle tone. He smiled kindly, ruffling Eiji-chan's hair. What are you doing all the way out here? With one hand stroking the child's head and the other still on his phone, he didn't seem too concerned. Maybe the kid overheard, he thought, but who cares? He's just a baby. Killing him now wouldn't be a problem. Eiji-chan's face went pale. What the hell? This guy's completely insane. The sky above was a clear, brilliant blue. Later, in a red car, Ling Yinju buckled Eiji-chan into the seat. He wasn't happy. Being stuck in a toddler's body wasn't exactly ideal. Alright, let's head out, she said. Eiji-chan was surprised. Wait, that guy's the driver. He shot a sharp glance toward the black-haired man, visibly annoyed. If I could just use my power, I'd flatten this guy in seconds and show him who's boss. Ling Yinju handed out snacks and food rations from the bag she brought. Everyone help yourselves, she offered warmly. Ryukaisen took a snack but responded with barely concealed disdain. Thanks, I guess. Eiji-chan narrowed his eyes. What is wrong with these people? Didn't any of you watch those monster attack videos? You've seen what's out there and you still go outside. The black-haired man gave a signal to another vehicle behind them. We're heading out now, he called. The red car pulled away from the storage depot. Eiji-chan looked out the window. I think I get it now. This is their defense mechanism. Even if they've seen the monsters, even if they've seen the corpses, they pretend it's normal. They have to, or the fear will swallow them whole. The car rolled on. Eventually, hunger crept in. Dinku leaned forward and asked Ling Yinju, could I get a sandwich? Always kind and eager to help, she smiled. Of course. Let me grab one for you. Dinku added, and a hot dog too, if you've got one. She unwrapped another item. Here. Eiji-chan smirked to himself. Hey, nailed it. Dinku took the food, thanks. Then, Ryukaisen spoke up, sounding skeptical. Ling, raising a kid on your own must be tough, huh? I mean, you're still young and pretty, and you don't look like someone who's working a steady job. She went on, isn't it dangerous to be out here right now? Ling Yinju looked a bit weary. I did think about staying home, but lately every time I leave him alone, he causes trouble. I thought it over a lot. and decided to bring him along. A.G. Chan groaned internally. Seriously, lady? That's enough out of you. While driving and munching on a sandwich, the black-haired man chuckled. Ling's actually pretty useful in a fight. He glanced in the mirror. Didn't she zap that monster with a stun gun? And now we've got a dog too. Ling Yanju blushed a bit and gave a shy smile. To be honest, I don't really remember what happened. A.G. Chan rolled his eyes. Useful? Yeah, right. The man shrugged. Oh well, there probably aren't any more monsters nearby. Just then, something caught his attention. Out on the street, a civilian was running panicked. Bam. Out of nowhere, a monstrous limb lashed out and snatched her up. A group of monsters was attacking. The woman screamed and cried in terror as she fled, her voice echoing down the road. Inside the car, everyone went silent. Some were frozen, some were indifferent, some were terrified. Inside the speeding car, the black-haired man shouted, "Hold on tight." He slammed the brakes, spun the wheel, and pulled off a slick, high-speed drift to escape the oncoming monsters. On the sidewalk, the dog barked furiously, woof woof. A civilian about to be devoured by the monster screamed in terror, "Please, someone help me." From I.G. Chan's seat in the back, his eyes caught the chaos on the street along with a rather unavoidable view of Ling Yinju's chest from his low toddler angle. He sighed helplessly. Good grief, today's a complete disaster. They kept driving, but no matter how far they went it was no use. There's too many out there, we're surrounded. A.G. Chan narrowed his eyes at the creatures outside, carefully observing their bizarre forms. His mind raced. That weird needle-like head, and those sting marks. There's gotta be a biomechanical being behind this. What truly made him sweat though, was the parasite controller species. They're not individually strong, but when they swarm, yeah, that's a real problem. These parasites turn people into biomechanical puppets. Alone, they weren't much. But in a pack? Terrifying. Outside the car, the creatures multiplied rapidly. They just keep spawning. I have to get out of here now. But it was too late. The monsters finally closed in, surrounding the vehicle from all sides. Damn it, we're really boxed in now. One of the beasts slammed its claw through the car's window, glass shattering, a grotesque arm reaching inside. They're fast, insanely fast. Even car windows can't stop them. Forget the car, it's useless. A.G. Chan clenched his fists. He wanted to unleash his power so badly, but he held back. No. Not yet. If I don't chase them off first, I can't make a move without blowing my cover. His power wasn't something he could use freely, only when absolutely necessary, and even then, only for 30 seconds. Wasted now, and I'm screwed. The black-haired driver looked around in despair. Isn't there anyone in this car who can fight? The girl with the purple ribbon looked out the window. Her eyes widened in horror as she spotted a civilian cornered by the monsters, about to become lunch. She screamed, "Someone help her." I.G. Chan winced. Seriously, she repeated herself, voice cracking, "We have to save her." A.G. Chan gritted his teeth, irritated. She's just a burden. She had no powers. No skills. Just whining and shouting. Keeping her around is pointless. Might as well toss her out. Upon seeing the scene unfold, the white-haired man said calmly, "No, it's already too late." His voice was almost gentle. That girl already has the same wound on her neck, just like the monsters. A.G. Chan squinted at him, suspicious. Who even is this white-haired guy? He doesn't seem ordinary, but after thinking it through, he frowned. Never mind. With those dead fish eyes and that old man vibe, he's definitely past his prime. Not a fighter. Maybe good for carrying bags though. The man stayed composed, unfazed. So should we just rush in now? He sounded so casual, like barging into a nest of monsters was a routine grocery run. Clearly he had some power if he could say something that crazy with a straight face. If we're doing this, he continued, we need to take the monsters out first, or else we're all dead meat. A.G. Chan looked at him, half impressed, half horrified. Wait, he seriously wants to kill them all. His eyes shifted to the person beside him. Not that I can count on this guy either. And the person behind him. Not much better. The green-haired guy was trembling, nearly hyperventilating, but still tried to muster courage. I'll go, he said. I.G. Chan blinked. This guy, really, looks pathetic now, but what if he snaps and turns into a beast? Despite the fear, the green-haired guy clenched his fists. I'll take care of them. I'm not scared. A.G. Chan gave him a little credit until about 3 seconds later. Nope. Not reliable at all. His frustration was painted all over his face. Don't tell me no one here is capable of fighting back. Suddenly, Ling Yinju rummaged through her bag. Wait, I'll get my stun gun. A.G. Chan's eyes widened. Wait, she's going out there. The car door creaked open. Green hair immediately seized the moment. Oh. Then I don't need to go, right? Yup. Classic coward. A.G. Chan facepalmed. Unbelievable. Now that he wasn't the one going out, Green hair even mustered a calm, supportive tone. I'll be counting on you. Not even 1 second later, a sharp claw pierced through his chest. Gah. He froze. The pain finally caught up. His wide eyes looked down at the monster's limb sticking through his body. With a brutal flick, the creature tossed him out of the car like trash. Blood sprayed through the air as he flew. One massive claw landed on the roof of the car. Purple ribbon girl turned pale as death. And then it arrived. The parasite controller. Everything went silent. Its tentacles quivered, then launched forward straight into Purple Ribbon Girl's chest. She gasped. The creature slowly turned, locking eyes with Ling Yinju. It pulled its bloody tendril from Purple Ribbon's body, and slithered toward its next target. A.G. Chan finally saw the true form of the creature. So this is the main body, huh? He muttered. His gaze sharpened. Where the hell has it been hiding until now? Damn sneaky bastard. There was no more room for hesitation. Looks like I've got no choice but to fight now. The tentacle shot toward Ling Yinju. A.G. Chan's eyes widened in panic. Damn it. But luck. The strike missed her by a hair. The monster hissed, pulling back and preparing for another attack. That's when it happened. The white-haired man finally stepped in. With just one punch, he struck the monster so hard that blood exploded everywhere. His voice was like a blade of ice. So you're the leader of this little infestation, huh? A.G. Chan was speechless. What the hell? The parasite monster screeched and lashed out again, flinging a tentacle straight toward him. But the old man just caught it, with his bare hand, and then he twisted. Crack. Tentacle snapped like a twig. The monster shrieked. The old man didn't even flinch. A.G. Chan blinked, stunned. That old guy just snapped its neck barehanded. The creature collapsed. Blood pooled beneath it. The white-haired man calmly dropped its body, muttering, guess I really am getting old. A.G. Chan did a full 180, instantly changing tune. Hua, this guy's insanely strong. But his celebration was short-lived. His expression darkened as he said something, wait a second, it's not over yet. A.G. Chan stared at the old man, eyes filled with disbelief. Who the hell is this guy? The monster had been flattened, lying motionless on the floor, and the old man had done it with almost no effort. But A.G. Chan knew better. That thing. It's not the kind that dies just from getting stabbed in the heart. These parasitic creatures' mere heart damage wasn't enough to kill the real controller inside. And sure enough, the monster stirred. It began to rise again, twitching unnaturally. A.G. Chan clenched his jaw. He couldn't blow his cover by explaining everything. So instead he pointed, cried. Played the part of a scared little boy. Tears, wails, and a trembling finger toward the creature behind the old man. Shin Minori turned around, confused. What the hell? The beast lunged again, a tentacle shooting forward, but Minoru dodged it with ease. The sharp tendril slammed into the van's floor. Then something clicked in the old man's mind. I've seen this before, he said, tone calm but razor sharp. Back when I was still part of the task force. One of those bastards that wouldn't die from a heart stab. A.G. Chan's eyes widened. So he really was military, no wonder he's that strong. Without saying more, Shin Minoru reached inside his jacket and pulled out a small weapon, nothing flashy, but deadly precise. He rushed forward and jabbed it directly into the monster's eye. The creature let out a guttural shriek, thrashing in pain. Minoru grabbed its head. Just as I thought. You don't die easy. And the knee. T.O. The face. The impact cracked the beast's skull. Blood gushed. It collapsed for good this time, twitching once, then still. A.G. Chan was stunned. This old man, he knew exactly what to do. Just one clean move. No hesitation. It should have been obvious he was ex-military. A.G. Chan reflected quietly. Back in my past life, when I was still a biodog for the organization, the government had already fallen. But I'd heard whispers about elite soldiers still fighting back. After the collapse, the army became the last real force standing against the monsters. And eventually they became the enemy of the organization. He smirked. Well, guess that means we're finally good to hit the supermarket now. Ling Yinju turned and asked, should we just head home instead? Shin Minoru replied without missing a beat. If we go back now, trouble's just gonna follow. Let's keep moving forward. After witnessing the old man's overwhelming power, A.G. Chan was elated, already scheming how to get him on his side. Now then, how do I make sure this guy sticks with me? He grinned smugly. Fake military orders. Blackmail him with intel from Hot. Or maybe just cling to him until he's forced to protect me out of guilt. Suddenly, Shin Minoru reached over and gently patted A.G. Chan's head. Oh, A.G. Chan was caught off guard. Shin Minoru, clearly a decent man who genuinely wanted to protect others, turned to Ling Yinju. Miss Ling, please stay behind me with the child. That way I can cover both of you. Ling Yinju blushed slightly. Yes, of course. I won't get in the way, but please don't expect too much from me. She bowed her head respectfully. Thank you for saving me earlier. Shin Minoru gave a modest smile. Nah, if the kid hadn't cried just then, I probably would have been done for. A.G. Chan twitched. Did he just call me stupid? Who the hell are you calling dumb, old man? Ling Yinju strapped A.G. Chan into the seat, and the group got moving. A.G. Chan, still a little bitter, mumbled to himself, that soft-heartedness of yours is gonna get you killed someday. But fine, I guess I owe you one this time. As dusk settled over the city, they finally reached their destination. Minoru peered out the window. It's locked. Guess they're closed for the day? Ling Yinju read the notice taped on the glass. But it says they're open. A.G. Chan narrowed his eyes. Tech, I knew it. Hot must have hacked into the system and forced it into lockdown mode. Suddenly the door creaked open. Oh hey, it's open, someone said. The black-haired man casually waved his phone. I asked a friend to unlock it for us. A.G. Chan's eyebrow twitched. No way, he's connected to Hot. As everyone entered the supermarket, A.G. Chan dragged his feet behind. I'm beat. Still, maybe this is fate or whatever. The inside was surprisingly big. This place is massive. A.G. Chan scanned the ceiling. No cameras. Good. I can move freely without worrying about blowing my cover. Then he noticed something odd. Wait, is that Shin Minoru had brought a weapon into the supermarket? It was tucked away in a tactical-looking backpack. Seriously. This guy's carrying heat inside a grocery store. Classic ex-task force behavior. But one thing bugged him. Where the hell's that psycho black-haired guy? Ling Yinju suddenly raised a valid question. There aren't any staff here, so how are we supposed to pay? Just then, the black-haired man popped up out of nowhere, clapped his hands, slammed a table, and grinned confidently. No worries. Everything here. Our organization's already bought it all. Suddenly, Ling Yinju's dog started barking furiously straight at the black-haired man. Woof woof. Woof. The man snapped, anger flashing in his eyes. Shut up, you noisy mutt. And just like that, the facade crumbled. A strange tattoo shimmered on his arm, something that resembled a flower. I thought breaking in here would be difficult, he said, his voice dripping with mockery. That's why I used all of you. But now, you're worthless. Huh. A.G. Chan froze, processing what he just heard. Then it clicked. He's with the organization. The man smiled darkly, his tone taking a sinister turn. From this point on, every last supply in this store belongs to the Eastern Lotus Syndicate. Eastern Lotus. A.G. Chan's heart skipped a beat. He suddenly remembered their first encounter. Back then, the man had warned them with a smug look, no objections. Understood. Especially you, old man. Don't get any funny ideas. It all made sense now. Eastern Lotus. They were the precursor to the organization. The ones who started the Hunt Project. Back before the Great Collapse, they were already committing crimes, hoarding supplies the moment they sensed something was coming. A.G. Chan clenched his fists. So that uneasy feeling I had about him, that arrogant tone, it really was just like him. His rage was boiling over. Even if this guy's not that bastard, he still has to die. Shin Minoru had realized it too. His expression turned grim. We've been surrounded. Play from the very beginning, without hesitation. The old man reached behind his back and pulled out a shovel. Eastern Lotus, huh? Then I'm going straight for your leader. With a growl, he hurled the shovel at the store's power box. Catch this. Crack. The shovel smashed into the breaker, sparks flying, wires snapping. Someone shouted, you crazy bastard. You want to get us all killed? Shin Minoru didn't flinch. He turned to Ling Yinju and A.G. Chan. Get out of here now. Boom. The fuse box exploded in a burst of flame and smoke. But the man didn't budge. He stood there calm and smiling. Why is he so calm? What's he planning? That's when Minoru saw a detonator in his hand. The man's thumb hovered over the switch. A.G. Chan's heart dropped. Shit, he's going to boom. The explosion rocked the entire store. Shin Minoru was thrown backward, landing hard on the floor, covered in dust and rubble. Taking advantage of the chaos, the black-haired man pointed his gun straight at the old man's head, a smug grin stretching across his face. I can't let an ex-soldier like you walk out of here, he sneered. One move and you'll be meeting your ancestors. Suddenly bang. A commanding voice shouted, don't move. I'll shoot if you do. Everyone turned. Ling Yinju stood in the doorway, gun aimed directly at the man's head. Her hands were shaking, but her eyes burned with resolve. Why are you doing this? She demanded. The man turned his head slowly, then scoffed. Are you serious right now? Ling Yinju didn't flinch. Her voice steady, she declared. I may just be a weak single mother, but yes, I'm damn serious. He let out a twisted chuckle. If you pull that trigger, can you really say your hands are clean? She answered firmly. Wasn't this just about sharing supplies? That's all we ever wanted. The old man, bloody but calm, added dryly. You've got a sense of humor. I'll give you that. But the man only grew more aggressive. His words turned venomous. You're too stupid to even talk to. Don't act like you're in charge here. He narrowed his eyes, voice lowering to a snarl. Want to know why I handed that dog to you? And then he started telling the story. That day I came by to collect a debt, but the owner was already dead. He lit a cigarette, eyes cold and hollow. Dead, huh? Guess no one's around to play with anymore. His tone turned almost playful as he recalled what happened next. I was about to reprogram the dog, until I saw you. He pushed the dog forward mockingly. Rakan, looks like I'm your opponent today. Then a woman's voice echoed behind him. Oh, a dog. He glanced over, saw a young woman, holding a baby, and just like that, a new plan formed. Perfect, he had thought. Let her take care of it. Now, in the present, his voice dripped with sarcasm. A woman juggling a kid and a dog, and still managing to stay alive. Impressive. Stupid, but impressive. AG-chan, burning with fury, gritted his teeth. His rage had reached its boiling point, but he still couldn't reveal who he truly was. Not yet. Then bang. The man fired a shot into the air. The truth is, he said coldly, there's not enough food to go around. So no sharing isn't on the table. He opened the door and his men started pouring in, armed to the teeth. Chaos erupted inside the supermarket. Guns were now trained on Ling Yinju. You don't know your place, he spat. Weaklings like you don't even deserve to speak. His voice turned darker. You're all just pathetic. The weak should suffer. Isn't that right? That was the last straw. AG-chan stood frozen, but inside, a storm had erupted. Memories came rushing back. The jeers, the humiliation, the way they all used to laugh at him. Haha. A filthy rat like you wants a bite. Pathetic. Tears, rage and despair. A life lived in the shadows of hell. Suddenly Reckon's leash snapped. The dog bolted out into the open. Reckon. Everyone turned their weapons on the dog. AG-chan's eyes blazed. That was it. Enough. From his palm, a surge of energy exploded outward. This is disgusting, he muttered, firing directly at the breaker panel. Boom. The lights went out. The entire supermarket plunged into darkness. A hush. Then panic. What the hell? I can't see a thing. Turn the lights back on. But it was too late. AG-chan stepped forward, his aura igniting. Crimson light surged around his small frame, a pressure so intense it sent a ripple through the room. The man tried to retaliate. His own body surged with a menacing green aura, and he leveled his gun at AG-chan. Don't move. Don't too slow. AG-chan charged, his red aura roaring like a flame in the night. He clenched his fist and slammed it into the man's face. Crack. One punch. That was all it took. The man dropped. AG-chan stood over him, breath heavy, emotion surging from every fiber of his being. But just then a shadow moved. Shin Minoru. The old man rose from the rubble, eyes sharp. He lunged toward the scene and AG-chan froze. Shit, I've been seen. Fear clenched AG-chan's gut. If someone like him realizes what I am, if he tells the military I'm a kid with this kind of power, I'll end up on a lab table. Dissected. That's why AG-chan had always hidden his true nature, always lived in silence, in fear of being discovered. Shin Minoru stared him down. That kid, is he a monster? Suddenly, the old man moved. One blow lightning fast. AG-chan barely dodged. He's testing me. The old soldier launched something fast, dangerous straight at him. But it didn't happen. That whole scene. Just a flash of panic in AG-chan's mind. In reality, he'd already found a hiding spot, heart pounding, brain spinning with ways to regain control. No, not now. I need to kill the lights again. I need to disappear. And yet, amidst the chaos, there he was again. That old man. The one man AG-chan couldn't predict, couldn't read. At this point, AG-chan had only one option left in his mind. Chach, in this situation, I'll just have to take out the old man first. But just as he was about to act, everything stopped. A strange liquid splattered across the air. Something, not human. What the hell is that? One of the thugs flicked his flashlight toward the ceiling. Splat. Gross, what is that? AG-chan smirked, a grin creeping across his face. What a stroke of luck. Without another word, he casually leapt back into his shopping cart, sitting there like nothing had ever happened. Meanwhile, the strange slime creature slithered straight toward Shin Minoru. The old man turned, sensing something off, then his eyes widened. What? This thing is turning into me. The creature morphed right before their eyes. Within seconds it became a perfect copy of Shin Minoru. All around the supermarket, the same was happening. What the hell is going on? Get off me, stop, get away. Screams echoed as the slime began duplicating others, replicating identities with eerie precision. Shin Minoru's eyes narrowed. So that's it, it's cloning us. Damn nuisance. The tension snapped. Chaos was back. And the real fight was only just beginning. The man was drenched in sweat, watching the strange creature slither closer. Don't come any closer. A red-haired girl shrieked in terror, eyes wide as dinner plates. That thing from earlier, wasn't it just a kid? A little boy cried softly in the dark. He clutched the iron bars, eyes glinting with cunning from behind the tears. Good, just like this, no one will suspect a thing. Close up on the boy's teary eyes, glistening as he looked up in desperation. Old man, hurry up and help me. Pale-faced, the boy reached out with trembling fingers. Damn it, it feels squishy. The cold-eyed man clenched his weapon. Without a word, he charged his strike. The metal rod sliced through the air, the wind howling in its path. The enemy's eyes froze. Bam. The rod slammed down with a flash of light, echoing through the dark. The monster's head went flying, but it began to regenerate almost instantly. Decapitating it doesn't work. This thing regenerates immediately. The man gritted his teeth, sweat trailing down his temple. Slime type, doesn't even have a real head to cut off. Sticky liquid clung to his arms. Chech, freaking pain in the ass. He stomped hard on the floor. Thud. It's a damn slime type. He yanked open his weapon case, fingers flying through compartments. Its weakness is the red-haired girl gasped, backing away as the monster closed in. Stay away. Suddenly crack. A yellow surge of electricity lit up the room. Electricity. And dehydration. She fired her stun gun, shocking the monster mid-lunge. The creature convulsed wildly, writhing under the electrical bursts. The boy was yanked backward by a violent force. Slime sprayed everywhere, splattering across walls and floor. The man's eyes scanned the dark room. Tech, it's still here. The girl trembled, retreating as the creature reformed. The boy grinned slightly. Not bad, old man. The red-haired girl shrieked and ducked under the blinding arcs of light. The boy thought quietly, looks like I've bought myself some time. The old man narrowed his eyes, peering through the shadows. It's hazy, but that thing's not dead yet. The boy's gaze sharp and calculating. Focused. Looks like his strike actually did some damage. Suddenly, a man rose from the floor, eyes burning with fury. We can't let that thing escape. The boy's eyes widened, sweat breaking out again. What the hell is this? I swear I'll kill him. The boy clenched his fists, eyes burning with resolve yet laced with hesitation. But if I use my power now, my identity will be exposed. What do I do? He leapt down from above. The red-haired girl shrieked in fear as the boy suddenly dropped from the ceiling. She spun around, screaming, and the old man turned with wide eyes. I'll take the child, he shouted. Then, a gray-haired man yelled, drop all your weapons. Or I'll kill the kid. The red-haired girl and the older man exchanged a tense glance. No words, just silence, thick and suffocating. Suddenly footsteps thundered forward firm, unyielding. Then one of the men was suddenly attacked. A green slime latched onto his face. He flailed in panic. What is this thing? Boom, a deafening explosion erupted, bright yellow and crimson light engulfed the room. The boy was yanked away just in time, held tight in someone's arms as the flames surged behind him. His eyes were serious, locked forward. From within the attacker's body, a shadow shot out like lightning, a crystal cord glowing faintly, grabbing the falling child from the man's hands midair. For a split second, time froze. The attacker grasped but caught only air. Below, alarms began to blare sharp and jarring, slicing through the brief moment of silence. The man staggered back, gripping his side. White smoke curled behind him from the explosion, his face pale. But he kept moving, still clutching the child against his chest. Both of them were exhausted. But there was no time to rest. Tech, persistent bastards. Just die already. Suddenly, huh? Boss. A blur appeared in the hallway ahead. The man's eyes widened. They were being surrounded far too fast to comprehend. Already. There's no way, how could they move so quickly? A full encirclement closed in. The boy gritted his teeth. There are more. The situation had turned completely on its head. Damn, something unexpected is happening. Prepare for immediate extraction. The leader barked. Understood. His subordinate shouted. The security camera panned with a whir, zooming in on the tattoo hidden beneath the man's shirt. A single word in jagged script LI and beneath it faded ink, barely visible under the skin. The truth of the commander's identity had been revealed. A glimmer sparked in the boy's eye just as the elevator door slid open. Light spilled onto the kidnapper's face. Lie. That bastard, it's him. He used to wear a mask. A.G. Chan had never seen the word Lia Lie inked on his neck before. But now, he saw it with his own eyes. The kidnapper smirked, lifting the boy effortlessly with one hand. His eyes were filled with scorn. What are you staring at, huh? A flicker of unease flashed across the man's face as a red glow surged in from outside the building. That light, the red hue intensified, casting a fiery glow over both of them. The air thickened with swirling dust. The entire scene turned oppressive, drenched in crimson. That's red dust. Outside, the city skyline blurred behind the growing storm as if the world was being swallowed whole. Anyone who touched the red dust would either die instantly, or turn into a monster. The man holding the child tightened his grip, jaw clenched. Damn it, with a heartless glare, he threw the child toward the edge. You're the shield now, kid. The boy's eyes widened in shock as he was shoved into the open, spinning, falling, weightless. Terror filled his face as the wind howled past his ears, but in that moment of chaos, his mind sharpened. So that's your plan, using me as bait. Don't underestimate me. From his pocket he pulled out a glowing red crystal. His hand clenched tight and power exploded. The crystal erupted with red-hot energy, blinding and intense. It swallowed the falling boy, wrapping him in a vortex of flame and fury. A swirling cyclone of red light engulfed the sky, with the boy at its center. Power surged. The air roared. The kidnapper's smirk deepened. He stepped forward, aura flickering, eyes filled with icy intent. But then from within the crimson storm, a long-haired figure emerged. This is my true power. Clad in dark armor, aura of white-blue flames coursing around his body, the boy had transformed. Waves of sapphire energy tore through the air, mingling with flickers of red. The ground shook beneath their feet. I'll give it everything I've got. From above, a colossal blood-red creature plummeted, locking eyes with the awakened warrior. The final showdown had begun. Dark energy tendrils curled tightly around the long-haired figure, pulsing with oppressive pressure. The word obsession exploded into the air with a deep, echoing rumble. He stood motionless, controlling the force as the tendrils writhed and coiled behind him, preparing for a devastating new technique. The crystals have fused. Now I can use this new technique. It didn't feel like he was wielding a weapon. It felt like the power had become part of his very body. Suddenly a massive beast emerged, eyes glowing blood red, thick black smoke billowing from its monstrous frame. Crimson glyphs flickered violently in the air around it. The long-haired figure stood tall, shrouded in twisting black mist, staring down the creature's enormous incoming claw. The monster charged, eyes bulging, its huge arm sweeping toward him with brutal force. Boom! A blinding red light burst forth as the claw slammed down. Debris shattered outward. The impact echoed like a thunderclap. Then a swirling, howling surge of black energy burst forth from the long-haired figure's hand, clashing directly with the beast's crimson strike. The ground trembled. The monster collapsed to its knees, its giant body trembling from the impact. Black energy tendrils lashed out from the figure's back, spiraling like vipers, spreading across the battlefield. Perfect. I'm syncing with this body more smoothly now. Suddenly the dark tendrils erupted, tearing through the air. Blue-white sparks lit up the space with every collision. A giant red vortex formed, swallowing the light around it, distorting the very air. Fragments of black matter exploded outward across the floor. A cold boot stepped down into the wreckage. A man, hair disheveled and sweat beading on his face, stared from behind a door, wide-eyed. Who are you? The long-haired figure stepped into view. His eyes gleamed with cool confidence, lips curled into a mocking smirk. He didn't see my transformation, did he? He tapped his chin, composed, crimson smoke coiling around him, facing the man like a predator toying with prey. The camera zoomed in onto the sharp angles of his collarbone and the gleaming lines of his battle suit. His cold voice rang out, it's your turn now. A wicked grin split across his face. His eyes flared, bright and unrelenting. The man stepped back, panic in his face, sweat dripping as his expression turned ghostly pale. From the darkness a sharp smile appeared, jagged fangs flashing beneath glowing eyes, leaking pure malice. Then a surge of power exploded forward, tearing through space with a red-hot trail. The long-haired figure shot forth, aura blazing in a whirlwind of red. His eyes burned with vengeance. You'll pay, for everything you did to me in my past life.
AG dashed quickly toward Lai. Lai panicked as he saw AG rushing at him. He hurriedly drew a gun intending to attack AG. A gunshot rang out, a bullet flew straight at the protagonist. But that meant nothing to AG, too slow. The bullet sped toward AG, yet he felt no fear, he calmly tracked its movement. With this body, AG feared nothing. This is only a fake body, but compared to a child's body, its power and speed are far superior. The bullet reached AG and was gently stopped by him, tossed to the ground like a toy. Determined to find the origin of the power in his body, he thought, about the limits of the dark shadow, I need to investigate further. Seeing AG stop the bullet as easily as eating candy, Lai was terrified, monster. Before Lai could react, AG grabbed his head decisively. He casually threw him to the side. The throw inflicted severe damage on Lai, his nose bled profusely and his face was bruised, looking utterly battered. Lai couldn't get up at all, he could only lie sprawled on the ground. AG decided to deliver a finishing blow, this ends now. Suddenly Lai laughed. He jammed his hand into his jacket to fetch something. Lai already knew what AG was, so that's it. His story was true. Hearing Lai's words, AG was astonished. Him. Lai knows who I am. From his pocket, Lai pulled out a suspicious file, smiling confidently. Hey, kid. Don't pretend to be strong, don't think that makes you the winner. Saying that, Lai didn't hesitate to shove the vial into his neck. Suddenly, something unexpected happened, his body transformed into a monster. AG then remembered, this had happened in his previous life, right, the organization began researching drugs before the Great Catastrophe. A drug that could create monsters while retaining consciousness. Could this be it? The monster before AG grew larger. A familiar chill ran down AG's spine, making him break out in a cold sweat. There was something very familiar about the monster before him. The monster kept transforming, with each moment, its shape grew more familiar. The more he looked at it, the more terrified the protagonist became. Why is it him? Finally the monster finished transforming, its appearance was identical to the creature that had killed AG in his past life. One tentacle of the monster, which was Lai, lashed directly at AG. Luckily the protagonist managed to dodge the attack in time. Now it was AG's turn to strike. He leaped up. AG's tentacle lunged at the monster. However, this attack meant nothing to it. AG gritted his teeth helplessly at the monster's hide, too tough. The monster emitted a terrifying sound. Countless tentacles from its body lashed toward AG. Wherever the tentacle struck, destruction followed. Though it was a bit difficult, AG managed to dodge all of the monster's attacks. There was still something behind him. Sensing something at his back, AG hurriedly turned around. But it was too late. He had fallen into Lai's trap. The protagonist ground his teeth in anger. Only now did he realize he had fallen into Lai's trap. This guy was a trap from the very beginning. AG's tail appeared, transforming into a drill that plunged straight at Lai. He still hasn't had enough of killing me, huh? AG stared at the monster, trying to find its weak point. A massive spike suddenly sprang up beneath the protagonist's feet. Fortunately, he dodged in time. AG lightly jumped to higher ground and continued observing the monster. This time he wouldn't die as easily as before, but my past self and my current self are two completely different people. He absolutely would not die at the hands of this monster again. I won't be killed a second time. The monster's body suddenly exploded. AG looked back in surprise. Who is it? It was Minoru, aiming a gun straight at the monster. Minoru also recognized what the monster was. Is that the big-eyed monster? He decided to try his new trick on this monster. Perfect timing. I'll test what I stole from the Eastern Union right here. And make the most of it. Acting on his words, he quickly loaded fresh rounds into his gun. With the gun reloaded, Minoru didn't hesitate to fire straight at the monster. The monster screamed in pain. Minoru's bullet seemed to affect it. Beside him, AG was bewildered by what Minoru said. The big-eyed monster, huh? This was clearly the many-eyed spherical monster that. Suddenly, AG remembered the monster's name, Lai. No, wait. AG sneered. He had grasped the truth, so that's how it is. Lai's organization had long predicted that a catastrophe was coming. Soon in this world, disasters will occur. If you want to survive, join the organization. The group Lai joined was called X. When he joined, the organization gave him a gift. This is from the organization. A small present. This gift would reveal the user's true nature, to help you reveal your true self. It's just a small talisman. At first, Lai didn't want to hear such nonsense. I don't want to hear this crap. But, the more he looked at the vial in his hand, the more curious he became. What is my true nature? Do I really understand myself? But after injecting that shot, I finally understood. I was born to do this, exploit other people's weaknesses. Since childhood, Lai had known how to use lies to manipulate others to his ends. Hey miss. Your husband is cheating on you, isn't he? At first, the woman didn't believe Lai. What are you saying? Don't talk nonsense. Lai didn't hesitate to point at the well-dressed man next to her. It's true. That man is your husband, right? He spoke while deliberately pouring fuel on the fire. Earlier he even said you looked like a sleeping pig. Like this. Hearing that, the woman flew into a rage. What did you say? She swung a fist at her husband's face. How dare you cheat behind my back? The husband, confused, took the punch. I didn't. You crazy woman, I'll divorce you. With her husband gone, the woman completely fell apart. She dropped to her knees and sobbed. I know, I'm ugly. A hand rested on her shoulder. Lai appeared like an angel. I'll show you a better place. With his soothing words, he wove threads that gradually enveloped the poor woman. There are many good people there. No one will bully you, miss. Thus Lai used his lies to draw everyone in. I use my power to exploit others' hearts and drain them dry. At this moment, he was transforming into a monster. I'm turning into a monster. But my mind remains human. My true nature is a con artist who plays with people's hearts. A level, for monster, a deceiver, Lai. Now AG saw the monster's true form and understood its power. This ability creates illusions. It shows people their deepest fears. Now, the more you attack, the less effective it becomes. Instead, you drain your own strength. Random attacks won't work. AG kept observing Lai, looking for a weakness to exploit and finish him with a single move. I must wait for the right moment. In the end, I'll be the one to end him. A bullet suddenly flew straight at Lai. He hurriedly looked for who had fired. Who? No one else. It was Minoru who had taken the shot. Lai hated Minoru intensely. It's that old man again. He wanted to unleash his full power on him first. Damn old man, die and make room. From Lai's body, countless swords materialized. All the swords flew straight at Minoru, who scrambled to dodge. Minoru temporarily took cover behind a crate. He rested his gun on top of it. Then he resumed firing at Lai. Those bullets gave Lai some trouble. He grew to hate Minoru more. Persistent bastard. Once again Lai formed swords. He wanted to kill Minoru no matter what. Die. Under Lai's assault, the ground became a chaotic mess of explosions, the air thick with dust and smoke. The smoke and dust impaired Lai's vision. Can't see clearly. At that moment, Lai realized he had another opponent. Wait. Where did that guy go? AG had vanished. Before Lai could react, something was pressed to his throat. It was AG, pressing a tentacle to Lai's neck. Found you. Lai hurriedly scrambled out of AG's grasp. Bastard. He was somewhat surprised at AG. How did he break free from the illusion? Lai clutched his neck in fury. How did he snap out of it so quickly? On AG's tentacle was Lai's blood. You're just a level 4 monster. The protagonist stepped toward Lai, a worm who tricks others. He despised people like Lai most, those who exploit others yet think themselves superior. Nothing special. AG's tail continued to strike Lai. Lai struggled to dodge the attacks, but AG wouldn't let him escape so easily. He was easily held tight by the tail. Lai loathed AG's tentacles, those annoying tentacles. He uses them again. With no other choice, Lai activated his illusion. This time AG's mind was extremely steady. He was not affected by the illusion. Lai was somewhat fearful. The illusion doesn't work. He tried to cast more illusions. Impossible. Die. The illusion still had no effect on AG. Instead, they made him stronger. Because of you I remember that feeling of death. He lunged straight at Lai. Take it all. All of my power. This time Lai could not resist AG. With a thud, the tail slammed into Lai's throat.